Welcome to another day with Dasher. So right now I'm getting a rope ready. We call this a Scotch hobble, but for you guys that would like to build your own, this is 25 feet of inch cotton rope. And right now I'm tying a bow line. And if you're wondering why I'm tying it around my body like that, it's because I can't do it any other way. When I was a Boy Scout, they taught us how to tie it around our body, and I can't tie a bow line without it being wrapped around me. So that is about 7 feet of rope to make the loop if you guys want to make your own. And my rope is 25 feet long. But a bow line works the best for this. So if you guys have been following this, you know that I've been working my way. I started at his nose, went up to his forehead, down to his cheek and neck. Now I'm working my way slowly back to his shoulders and up to the withers with my hands. It's really important anytime you do this, if you have the desired outcome, to take pressure off. And you'll watch Dasher process it and kind of lick his lips and be like, okay, I'm all right with Riley coming back there. But there's a definite line on Dasher's body that he does not like anybody crossing. And right now, it's right about where the cinch would go on the saddle. Yesterday, I went out and touched him a little bit there, and he actually turned and tried to kick me twice. And I kind of had to regroup and rethink my strategy. My main goal when I work with this horse is to keep myself safe. And then the next goal is to keep Dasher safe. I would like to remind everybody also that these training sessions are usually between an hour or 2 hours long. We condense them down to just, 8 to 12 minute videos just so you guys can watch them and learn. But there's a bit of lunging. Right now I'm working on yielding this horse's hip. I mean, there's a lot of feet movement before I go in here and I'm starting to teach him things. I know that some of you will say that you want to watch the whole video, but I can assure you, I go back and watch these and edit them, and I get pretty bored watching myself moving this horse around. So you guys get the highlight reel of kind of watching Dasher during these pivotal learning moments in these training sessions. You can see his ears are all over the place, from pinned to forward. I go back there and put pressure on him in places he doesn't like to be touched. And if he lets me do it, I'm immediately backing off. All right, so I slowed the video down quite a bit right here so you guys can see Dasher and see how incredibly sensitive and reactive these Mustangs are. So right here, I'm just kind of brushing him a little bit with this brush on the end of a broomstick, trying to stay to the side of him as much as I can. And you'll see right here, I move this brush to the other side of his body, and boom. Dasher feels something different. He feels that brush cross over to the other side of his body, and he explodes. Luckily, he was exploding more at the brush and not at me. He was just trying to get away from it. All of them do this every once in a while. And if you let your guard down, you're going to get hurt. But I immediately go back in and get brushing him again. Here it is in real time. You'll see just how fast these things happen. It can be a little tough to keep my composure and my patience with a horse like Dasher. We'll be cruising along, things will be going good, and then boom, he'll remind me that he's a Mustang and that he's reactive, and that reactive tendency is what kept him alive in the wild for so long. So I'm just trying to kind of calm down, go back to the drawing board, and do this all over again. And remember that if I cross that line in the middle with this brush, that's a surprise to him. He sees me right now on his right side. If I cross that brush over the left side, he's wondering where it came from. So I just need to remember that, work on it, and he'll get better. But like I said, the best thing I can do is just keep my composure and keep myself safe. I've seen quite a few people, when they're training Mustangs, they get so focused on touching their Mustang that it turns into this cat and mouse game, and it just never ends. The Mustang is figured out. You're trying to touch him in different spots. He's running away. And so what I want to do now is change it up. I mean, I could sit there and beat the dead horse of not being able to touch his back and flank very good until somebody gets hurt. or I can change it up. And I found changing it up is pretty invaluable. So right now I'm going to take my Scotch hobble that I just tied together, and I'm going to work on a little bit more of just getting him accustomed to things flapping around him. You know, this Scotch hobble rope, it's really soft. And, you know, I've said it once and I'll say it again, Dasher is really good. And it's because we've done so much of it at having new objects introduced to him. And this Scotch hobble, it's a new object for him, and he really doesn't care. You'll see I fling it on his side, throw it over his head, you know, and I'm trying to stay in a neutral position so he knows I'm not lunging him. And he's figured all this out pretty dang good. So I'm just going to keep doing this. And like I said, the main thing is I just want to take his mind off what we were doing, because you can really push these Mustangs into a corner. And you guys kind of saw a little bit about what could happen if you push them into that corner, how much they can freak out and how fast they can do it. So right now I'm trying to catch a back leg. So I threw a little loop underneath him, and I want him to step into it. And I'm just kind of laying a foundation right now of farrier work. I know I'm a long ways away of picking up this horse's back feet with my hands, but I just wanted to change it up. I could see that the brush and touching him on the flank and back up near the withers was a lot for him. So I just thought, you know what, we'll change it up. Let's move on to something else for now. We'll come back to your sensitive body parts on your back and near your withers and near your hip. So we're just going to pick this up and just start petting him and let him kind of get used to standing on three legs. And it doesn't surprise me he's handling this so good. If you guys have watched, I've laid Dasher down 4 times now. And so he's pretty accustomed to having a leg tied up. He's used to not fighting ropes. If you guys want to know how to do this, you guys kind of watched how I did that part. But now I like to go around the neck one more time and underneath. And I'm not going to tie him up. First off, because I can't really get to that spot on his body yet. But I do like to tie it around his neck. It really gives me some leverage to hold that leg up. So right now you can see he's kind of fighting that rope, but he's solving the problem and he's doing it well. And he stopped. It was about a 5-second long fight. And then he realized, okay, my foot is stuck like that. That's fine. For me as a farrier, it's really important that horses know how to stand and that they can even balance and hop around on 3 legs without throwing a fit. So I'm going to pull Dasher off balance, even though he's on 3 legs. And, you know, I kind of like to see him struggle a little bit, figure it out, solve the problem. And like I said, he's figured this Scotch hobble out really quick. Going to kind of air pet him a little bit before going to the neck. And then I'm just going to kind of introduce what I was doing before all over again. You know, this is what I mean by changing it up. You know, right now he's focused on his leg being tied up, and all of a sudden I go back in there and start petting his shoulder again. And, you know, it's just a way to kind of keep their mind going and not focus so much on my hand. He's got a lot going on right now. And now I'm going right back to where I was. I'm going to go back to putting pressure on him. I want to touch his neck, shoulder. Go back, let him think about it. He's licking his lips. He's thinking again. He's like, okay, I remember what we're doing. I'm going to come here to the other side, and there's those pinned ears again. Like I said, he's pretty sensitive back there. And I think more than sensitive, I think Mustangs, it's just a feeling of being vulnerable. You know, there's those ears again. You need to imagine for a Mustang, if anything's on your back, it's a predator and they're trying to take you down. So it's a big reason why the back is so sensitive. But now, you know, we're ending up the day, and this is kind of a fun little deal that I'm doing with him. Just trying to lead him back to his pen without a halter rope. I've done it a couple times. I'll walk, tell him to stop and say, whoa. And then I'll pick it up again and keep walking. And he's pretty good at it. It's kind of a fun way to end the day. All right, guys, here's the shot of the day. And it's just me walking back to the pen, Dasher following at a good distance without a lead rope on. Some of you guys forget that my wife and I have 9 of these in training all at the same time. If you go back, just one of my recent shorts I put on YouTube, you'll see and you'll get an update on everybody. Dasher's not the only horse I work on every day, but he is definitely the one, I would say, that has the most reactive tendencies out of all of them. I don't get so nervous about getting hurt with any other Mustang besides Dasher every day, but he is coming along. Another thing I want to remind everybody is that these training sessions are usually over an hour long, and we condense them into 10 to 12 minute videos. And so there's a lot that you guys aren't seeing. Most of it is pretty boring, and I think most of you guys would zone out. A bit of lunging. Right now I'm working on yielding his hips, and I do that over and over and over again until I feel like he's in a headspace to start presenting new objects like the Scotch hobble, the brush at the end of a stick. But there's quite a bit that leads up to these moments that we catch on film. I appreciate everybody that's been part of this journey. It's been really hard, but it's been fun. We'll see you next time.